Good afternoon. Decentralized Science is currently up 4.9% on the day, bringing us to a market cap of $921 million. According to CoinGecko, at least. We all know it is a little bit higher because of all the random little DeSci coins that are out there in the market, but not by too much more, probably a few tens of millions of dollars. And what is $10 million amongst DeSci enthusiasts? How is everyone doing on this beautiful Tuesday? We have an exciting live stream. We're going to talk about the future prospects of decentralized science. Shocker. That's the same thing we always talk about every single Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, just worded in a new, unique way that I have not spun it in the past. Currently speaking, the market is being led by Yes No Error, followed by SciDAO, Oncology Network, Genome Phi, Vector Space's SBio token, which is excessively illiquid and always in the top gainer or loser, depending on the day. We have Solve, we have Senku, we have Redacted Terminal, and leading us on the way down, we have TRL, Metformin, DigiHealth, Neos, Deepworm, Brainworm, and Zaya. Unfortunately, Zaya, I hate to see it on the way down there at a $2.5 million market cap, is the only DeSci on Binance chain, and shockingly not performing as good as you would expect given how much Binance is a big fan of decentralized science. But that's all right, we don't get to make the rules here, we just have to abide by the current standards in the market. Now, while I have everyone here, I would like to say that I had a very interesting call this morning with some members of Dynex. And while I cannot explicitly leak anything right now, I would prepare for a rather large announcement to come in the coming days / over the weekend potentially. Do not know the exact day, but I would expect some pretty interesting developments coming out of it. What is going on, SHRNCHNG? I don't know how to pronounce your name, but you see question mark, question mark, question mark. Hopefully you can see the live stream. If you can, let me know over on X. Anyone joining us on X, blink twice if it's bullish. I will blink infinitely then if it's super bullish. It is very exciting. It is bullish. It is something that will fundamentally shift the trajectory of the chart forever. Knock on wood. Leftover pizza is leading the charge for me. No, MK. No, don't do that. Good morning, Spec. Good morning, MK. What's going on, Stare? How's it going, C90? Beagle, Martigan. Welcome into today's live stream. Hopefully you guys are well rested and not as hungover as you were yesterday after we had that Super Bowl that I did not stay up for. I, in fact, went to bed nice and early for during it. Now, today Bitcoin is coming down, which is unfortunate, down 1.27%. It was up a little bit when I first woke up this morning, but if you zoom in on the hourly, you'll see that we attempted to get above all the moving averages here, but got rejected and broke straight through all of them on the 1 hour chart. I will say that we are still riding the weekly moving average, the moving average that we needed to come down and test. We are currently riding it upwards, so hopefully we can maintain some support here and not have a large sell off. I will, however, mention that while Bitcoin is down 1.3%, some of the altcoins like Ethereum are only down 0.88%, meaning that while Bitcoin is not holding up aggressively today, Bitcoin dominance is in fact falling today, down 0.57%. On the day. We did break below all the moving averages, and it looks like it's coming up to test them. I believe that this will be the end of the dominance era, and we will start to see it curl over and trend back down. A lot of things in the broader economy are pointing towards that, but we cover those all the time. This type of a chart structure is something that every new trader will trade, where it spikes up, comes down, and you're like, oh, let me get in on this dip here. And we get to the moving averages and it breaks below. And then you're like, oh shit, should I get out of this trade? Well, no, maybe not, because we can build support here and then it never holds. It never does. Everyone has seen this type of trade setup before. I know you have. I absolutely know you have, because you try and get that continuation trade, but when the momentum is out, the momentum is out. Now, if we go ahead and take a closer look at some of the other altcoins that are performing good in this current market, you can get an idea of where everyone's attention currently sits. And we'll get into the DeSci stuff in a moment. But right now we got Cardano up 11%, likely on the news that they might be getting an ETF. We have Sonic, previously Phantom, up 9%. We have Caspa up 7%. We have Radium up 6.8%. We have BitTensor up 6.9%. We have Sui up 5.8%. We have OKB up 5%. So a couple strong AI plays in here, but a little bit all over the place with what is performing today. Quant still under $100, which is absolutely crazy to think about. Enough of those. Let's get back into DeSci landscape. The DeSci landscape is gorgeous. I have a fun time being in here all the time. One thing that I thought would be fun and healthy to bring up is this chart here from Zach.eth, where he was pointing out the current state of where he views decentralized science, and he thinks we are in the innovators phase 2.5. And I would have to agree with that. I think we are very, very early to all of this before even a lot of the early adopters are coming into the space. So I think we're right at the section where we're parlaying over into the early adopters. But you guys have to realize how damn early we are to this movement, this entire economy that is rapidly growing. Another thing on I'm already jumping all over the place, but we have the bullish catalyst I think you should pay attention to, and that would be the fact that we don't have much Bitcoin left on the exchanges. We also are seeing record short positions in Ethereum. Ethereum has never been shorted this hard in its existence, which is pretty spectacular to think about, especially if you understand the concept of a short squeeze. Now, there's a little bit of a caveat to it, which we can talk about if you guys want to talk about, and I'm going to talk about it anyways. I'm just filling up the time with some words. Essentially, you buy Ethereum, you stake Ethereum, you earn a yield, and then you short Ethereum with the same amount of money that you bought Ethereum with and just farm the yield without having to deal with any of the volatility within Ethereum's price. And so that leads to an excessive amount of shorts, but these shorts never have to get covered because they're also exposed to the long side of it. And then it's just you're neutral on Ethereum, but you're farming the yield from staking Ethereum. Pretty interesting, but it doesn't mean that we have to have that short squeeze. I would venture to say, though, that not everyone is doing that. There are probably an egregious amount of people who are just short Ethereum for the sake of being short Ethereum. Does a short squeeze really apply to printable assets that are still being printed? Doesn't make much sense. Absolutely, because it's not... You don't see a dynamic printing of that asset compared to the amount of shorts. So if there is something that causes a short squeeze where people have to cover those short positions, even if that asset is monetarily increasing the supply every single year, it doesn't matter, because the amount of aggressive purchasing that would have to come in a short window to cover those shorts would far outpace the amount of new assets or new supply that's being introduced to the market. So it's a good question, but not applicable in this scenario. You still see, like, there's no supply limits in the stock market. You can print new supply all the time, and you still see short squeezes there as well. Bitcoin gets short squeezes, and they print new supply constantly. I know overall the supply of Bitcoin is slowly being eroded, but it doesn't really change that at all. Same with Ethereum. I know we just flipped back to no longer deflationary Ethereum, but if you ultimately look at what happened, we had a period of 2+ years where supply did not grow. That is net bullish. Now, there was something else I wanted to address before we got right into the markets, but let's just get right into the markets. The membership has been paused. I know, C90, I'm sorry. I have to go change my address on YouTube, but I don't want to do that just yet, so I've been postponing it. It is of my lowest priorities, which I understand is not super exciting for you guys, but so be it. Would Steve become Steve the 51st or Steve the American, or just Steve if Trump got his way? Executive order announced Steve the North American has entered the chat. Ooh, shit. Steve the 51st Stadion. Canada, Canada, Canada. Now, as far as decentralized science news is concerned, and then we can get into some of the charting for some of the positions that I think are spectacular to hold on to. But we have Wellshare here today announcing that they are getting Stephen Adolph from Molecule's ex-lead engineer, who is now joining as one of the co-founders of Wellshare Health. Now, we already knew this was here, but I don't think it was official necessarily. We knew he was one of the core contributors, but now it is official. They are getting an ex-Molecule executive to come join Wellshare's development. This is pretty exciting. We love to see that kind of stuff. So he built IPNFTs and IPT building blocks to pioneering for the new model of intellectual property ownership in biotech. He also designed and led development of Catalyst, the fundraising protocol for Base, and he developed the original bioprotocol token Launchpad. Now, he is changing careers a little bit and getting into the preservation of patient data platform that perfectly highlights the synergies of Wellshare's vision and Stephen's passion for this important topic. Stephen will lead the development of DeSci's ecosystem, health data sharing layer, connecting patients and BioDAOs communities directly with medical research in pharma, medtech, BioDAOs, and AI agents. This also means we will have significantly more Web3 development firepower to flourish our existing DeSci partnerships with Cerebrum and Diabetes DAO, building the technological infrastructure layer for health data sharing. Pretty exciting. Pretty exciting to see Wellshare continue to build and expand their team and just provide the reassurance that they are continuing to build despite the token price looking pretty atrocious. No shame on them for that. That is a story as common as DeSci. It goes across the board for decentralized science, down to a $3.6 million market cap. We're starting to see a little bit of a slowdown with the bleed, but we still have not yet seen that bleed come to an end. Now, this is painful, no doubt, especially if you had to top blast that and be down 91%. It does take now a 1000x to get back up to the peak and start putting in price discovery again. But that is the story with most of the altcoins within crypto, currently speaking. Bullish on Adolf. Any Psy or Noble news? Yeah, let's talk about both of those. It does play like, it gets harder and harder to recap some of those gains, and not every altcoin will break into price discovery once again, but the fundamental ones that have real utility and real community behind them tend to be the ones that do break out like that. Like if you go look at virtuals, you'll see this sucker. Oh, that is not the correct one. You'll see that this sucker, down at $880 million market cap, which still sounds excessively large, but if you do the price drop that it just went through, it was an 80% drop in the price of virtual, which is one of the leading AI agent launchpads, right? One of the leading, if not the leading AI agent launchpad, down 80% from the peak in a very short, like 40-day period. But that is just the volatility that comes with this space. I know I always liken it to stuff from last cycle, but if you go look at Cardano, for example, from last cycle, you'll see what it is that I'm talking about with these. Like the volatility is not something that should shake people out when it comes to cryptocurrencies. I'm not even going to pay attention to this previous drop when Cardano went from 38 cents all the way down to under 2 cents. I'm only going to focus here on this drop that rapidly came during the COVID era when we saw Cardano go down 75%. And not only did it recoup all of those losses, let's get the exact days. Not only did it recoup all those losses in under 3 months, but it went on to rally all the way up to over $3, which is almost 20,000% gains. I mean, probably closer to like 15 or 17,000% gains. But this is the type of movement that you should expect within the crypto markets is that crazy volatility. Just because something dropped, and that was already a huge market cap. Cardano was already in the billions when it dropped like that. And then it continued to rally like crazy because it fit the current narrative structures for that cycle, last cycle, which was new L1s that were getting close to launching smart contracts. That was one of the main things that we saw pop off last cycle. And then emerging L2s. But now there's L2s being launched every single week, it feels like, every single day almost. And so that narrative is definitely being run dry as we see those new chains like Barachain and everything launch and immediately just plummet 80%. You go look, that's what everyone seems to be talking about on my feed, at least right here. After airdrop, we got Pengu down 70%, Anime down 80%, Barachain down 60%. Some of the newest airdrops that got the most mind share, but as soon as they launched, everyone just absolutely sold off and took that free money. You find the base, you find that floor, and then you start to climb again. And as long as they have flourishing ecosystems, then you don't have to worry necessarily about them just being down and out forever. It just was a temporary lapse as everyone who was going to sell gets out and moves on to the next hyped up airdrop. Same type of stuff. We have SHI. You guys want to talk about SHI for a minute? SHI launched, absolutely skyrocketed from 40 cents all the way up to $6.50. And then once the market turned and people started losing interest in those strong uptrending coins, you see it fall down to an area in which new buyers will come in and establish that new floor, that new support or foundational level. For SHI, it looks like that's happening right at around $1.30 all the way down to $1.20. I think it's criminally undervalued, but the market doesn't care what I think. Right? Noble to all-time high by Friday at 5 p.m. Sheet C90. That is a bold, bold, bold prediction. 1000x or 1000%? 1000%. If I said 1000x, I'm sorry. 1000%. Very easy. We hit 1000% all the time. That's not hard in crypto, especially with small market caps. So this one, Poseidon Down needs to do 1000% in order to get back up to where I think it should be reasonably trading at, which would be a $43 million market cap. That's far more applicable to what I think Poseidon Down should be trading at, up here at $14. Now, obviously, the odds of us now hitting this circle by the mid to end of February are pretty slim. So I might have to drag this thing out to the end of March. But I do think we get that. Oh, I get lots of room. I do think we still get that crazy rally in DeSci towards the end of Q1. Once we see the altcoin market kind of turn around a bit and we see Bitcoin dominance actually put in some of these structural breaks in the charts, if we can get Bitcoin dominance by the end of Q1 to be firmly underneath the moving averages here on the daily chart, I think that it would be a strong expectation that we see decentralized science absolutely ripping. So what would this look like if we come grab, let's say from this period back here, bar patterns. I want to find a pattern that I think would actually hold up and give me what I'm expecting. Yeah, I think that pattern will do it. So if we saw something like this take place, it might have been too much time. Yeah, that's a little bit too big. I'll just draw it. I will just draw it. Something like this, where we snap down over the span of this week, right? We get a little bit of a bounce back up where people are like, oh, see, it's just putting in a lower... higher low, and then that break down below the moving averages into the beginning of March, and then holding as a resistance level on those moving averages leading into the end of March. That would be the most bullish scenario for crypto and our altcoin positions. Now we can get into the meat of the live stream where hopefully you guys are positioned to take advantage of this move, which I know we've been saying it for a while, will inevitably come. I thought it was going to be taking place right here, but obviously it did not. The market had other plans, one final shakeout. And so I'm coming back to you with another time stating Bitcoin dominance will crack. And when it does, altcoin markets go crazy. And towards the end of altcoin markets going crazy, speculative new emerging sectors within crypto and the altcoin markets, like decentralized science, will get their time in the sun. Now, that can come prematurely, and that can come a little bit, that can arrive a little bit sooner than what we expect with things like pump science, bringing in lots of attention into the space of DeSci, bringing in some of those degens. And tomorrow at 1:30, following the daily live stream, I will be going live with Benjel from Pump Science for 2 hours, potentially longer, to talk about Pump Science and the upcoming token launches. Remember Riff and Euro? Yeah, it's happening again. And so I want each and every one of you guys to have your notifications on, and I want you guys to be ready for that live stream tomorrow, because it's going to be an Ask Us Anything style live stream. For hours, we're just going to sit there and chat about what to expect from all of these launches. I will be there for the whole thing. You're damn right, MK. Let's go. Let's go. Let us go. Yeah. I'm ready for the recoup phase. I might have to go put my head in the sand till the fall. Hopefully not. Got a notification from Watcher Guru. Fed Chair Jerome Powell says the Federal Reserve will never create a central bank digital currency. Bullish. DB redacted his message. The moon is on our side. It is, in fact. Good morning, Dawn. Welcome into the live stream. They don't need the CBDC. They got XRP. No. Dawn Digital for Canada's Prime Minister. You mean their governor? I need the altcoin market cap to break and hold at 1.5. I know. Ayo. I will be there for the whole thing. Ask anything and everything. Is there a date these Pump Science launches coming? That's something that we can talk about with Benjels tomorrow. They don't have specific dates, but they do have a range starting, I think, this week. Towards the latter half of this week, they have everything ready to start launching. Same thing with that news from Dynex. Pay close attention, because I can't leak anything. I was told specifically do not tell exactly what it is, but big things coming to change the fundamentals behind the Dynex coin, DNX. A lot of things are going to change pretty quickly in anticipation for their March announcements. So get ready. Hold your pants, hold your bags. Milgram here says, hi, if you had to choose only one DeSci project to be launched soon on Pump Science, which one would you choose? You're asking one of the Pump Science tokens. I'm not entirely sure which one I would go full port into. Probably none of them, to be completely honest. I have been talking to some of the developers of them, and I'm pretty excited for their launches. And I can name a couple, but I won't just pick one. I also think it would be impossible for me to remain totally unbiased in this department on just picking one of them, so I just won't. I will say, though, if you go to my overview video of the launches, which is doing really good still. Hopefully I'm not, yeah, okay. I think this one will be a solid one. This one should be pretty interesting. I think they've got a lot of good traction coming and a lot of plans to make it really worthwhile. This one has already received a lot of attention because I think they did that pre-sale. So Wormy, maybe. I don't have confirmation over the ticker. I think that one will do pretty good, but I think most of the gains will come before anyone can really get in because of that pre-sale. Troll, I think, will be really good. So these three, I think, will be pretty aggressive. Troll, I think, will do very well, actually. I think they got some cool things planning for it. And then Gaussy as well. Gaussy looks very promising. Big amount of followers already. I think one of them just had a name change. Oh, they just did their pre-sale as well. Got almost 5,000 followers. So clearly people are interested in those pre-sales. But I can link this post if you want to get some information on all of these launches. Copy link. But definitely, Milgram, go over to tomorrow's live stream. Tomorrow's live stream with Benjels from Pump Science will be very informative. Like BNP, here already has secondary markets live. So you'll be able to bet on key features of the token, right? And kind of the science and the experiment behind it. So that will be fun to bring in another wave of liquidity into things. Nothing is bigger than Bill, MK. I agree. Is Bill part of the Dynex announcement, or is it bigger than that? It has implications for everything. That's what I'll say. That's all I'll say. Congrats on the 37,000 views. Let's go, Spec Truth. Appreciate it. That was a banger video. Let me take a sip of my kombucha. Not sponsored, although it should be. All right, guys. I did not check Psy, so let's go check out Poseidon. Any new announcements? No. No new announcements. So they're just heads down working right now. They're just putting in that time and putting in that work to get everything squared away for the launch of their DApp. That will be good. That's the next thing that's coming. The launch of the DApp will then enable the dual token model for governance and the proposals for research to get funded. And so I know that they have some of the research funding established, kind of like the proposals for the research funding will be live shortly after the DApp, but they really want to make sure everything's squared away and secure for the DApp. And then what was the other one that you asked for? We had Psy and assuming Noble. Yeah, there we go. Noble. So Noble with the Data Lake partnership, which I think will be really cool to see. That's FUD Dynex to the Sovereign Lake, to the Sovereign Fund of UAE. Announcement is there's a Dynex ETF. That would be crazy. 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 Yeah, big alert, partnering with Data Lake. I think it's super bullish. Remember what I said, Noble Blocks was not going to do any announcements or any partnerships until they had everything squared. Ooh, they're following exactly 1,000 people. Until they had everything squared away and ready to go with all of the features on their platform. And then we have the inevitable launch of the Nerd Bunny token, which is not exactly from Noble Blocks, but it is the same team putting it together to create an AI that can actually sift through all the academic publishings that go on the Noble Blocks platform. It's kind of like your virtual assistant when it comes to doing the research and having everything second checked. So this will be really exciting whenever this does go live. It's launching on Pump Fund, so it's going to be one of those tokens that absolutely skyrockets from launch. No pre-sales and stuff, which is good. I like that model. I like that model. Let's go to creator bid for a second so we can look at Bill. And see that Bill currently has 600,000 bid tokens endorsing Bill, which puts him at the very bottom of the rankings. He is 10 out of 10 for top endorsed agents. We need to get him up to at least 1 million tokens endorsed, so he's in the top 6, so that when you come to the page, I mean, preferably over 2.5 million bid tokens allocated to endorsing Bill, but I understand that's a tall ask. We need to get him up there. It's kind of embarrassing that we have smaller market cap agents above. Look at that. We have 6 agents with smaller market caps, all endorsed more heavily. Does that mean that their communities are stronger than Bill's community? It does. It does. And so that's kind of a little embarrassing. We need to get this thing up higher. I don't know why everyone was just like, oh, I don't want to endorse the agent for the weekly bid distributions and the highlighted features and the access to curated launches for future agents. Everyone was just like, no, I'd rather just take my bid and dump it. Sad day. Unless you guys are, dare I say, endorsing other agents. The betrayal that I would feel if that came out to be the truth. Bid token is starting to climb up. And if you go look let's go to my home. I had some replies. I did a lot of replies this morning, so it might take a minute to get to exactly what I'm looking at, but I replied here. So Simon here, who we've seen making content about Bill in the past, actually, he's got a large scale following, so he's got some voice out there. He's the CEO and partner at Moonrock. Simon here made a post about the 4 leading AI agent launchpads. We have AI Rig Complex, aka ARC, which is sitting at a $313 million market cap. Then we have, let's come to Creator Bid last. Then we have AI 16Z with a $637 million market cap. Then we have Virtuals chilling at an $884 million market cap. And yet, arguably the most well-rounded, put-together launchpad for ecosystem AI agent development, Creator Bid, chilling down at a $25 million market cap. In order for us to become comparable and on the same playing field as some of these others, we're looking at a minimum of a 10x for the project, with potential to get to the Virtuals ecosystem size. We're looking at something closer to a 30x to get up there, which is pretty damn aggressive. A 30x would put us at, well, let's see, a 10x would put us at 86 cents, would put us almost at $3 per bid token. So, Interesting. Was Creator Bid the newest one? I think so. I actually don't know, to be completely honest with you. I know Creator Bid is newer than AI 16 and Virtual. I don't know if it's newer than ARC, although I think it is probably newer than ARC, but I guess we could just go find out pretty quickly, huh? ARC. I feel like I've heard this one a bunch. Max. We have the launch back in December, yeah. So Creator Bid is the newest of the launch pads. So you need to give it some time to evolve and expand and gain that market share, in my personalized opinion. Now, let's talk about potential coins to be holding going into this next leg. I don't have any. However, I've been seeing a lot of noise coming from and around Pythia, the rat that has an AI chip implanted into its brain. These are some juicy plays to pay attention to. Still currently bleeding. However, it's down at one of the lowest prices that it's been since the previous consolidation phase that it was first brought up on the page on this channel during a live stream right before this giant push. Now, I did not capitalize off that movement, but it is looking like something that we should be keeping our eyes on, as it is a physical manifestation of artificial intelligence. A little bit animal abuse as well, but rats and mice are not considered animals in the eyes of science, which is a mistake that I hope one day changes with the advent of simulated realities on quantum networks. I think we'll be able to phase out animal testing as a whole and just go straight into virtual testing within human bodies, but that we're pretty far away from that still, although rapidly approaching. If I wanted to get yelled at on live stream, I'd go watch another creator's channel. What the hell, C90? What the hell? Stacy's cheating through Bill, doesn't have boobs like that. Oh my god. Bill does not have boobs like that. You are spot on, nor will he ever. You tell that to the Japanese. They honor every rat that gives its life. That's bullish. I wish that to be the case. As early as, I think, like 20 years ago, the way that you would kill the mice during experiments is when their time was done and it was time to biopsy them, you would grab them by the tail. And this is coming directly from one of my professors at university. You'd grab them by the tail, and you'd have the table here, and you'd just slam it into the table, crack its ribs, destroy its body, kill it, and then open it up and see how many tumors were in its body. Pretty fucking violent. That's no longer the case, but it tells you how inhumane these creatures have been treated. But still, I guess we can make money off of it. So rat with Neuralink. It's not a Neuralink, but rat, because it was funny to say it, C90. That's why I'm smiling. Rat with AI chip, bullish. Bill with quantum enhancement, very bullish. SHILLERS with personalized medicine, bullish. Also, just lots of developments that are happening. They're about to go to Boost VC Founders Summit, so that'll be really cool to see. Eagle AI, bullish. Integration and revenue generating asset, actually, so easier to value. A lot of the valuation predictions, I mean, I just made a video or a post about how I think it's very possible this thing gets to $10 by the end of the year. That would put it at under $1 billion market cap still, but with the amount of money that it will be churning off for that hedge fund that they partnered with, it is very possible that this thing picks up steam to get into the multiple dollar range, and it's chilling down at 30 cents right now. We have Research Coin. I think this one goes without saying, should be a staple part of any DeSci portfolio. Down at 50 cents right now. It is Brian Armstrong's project, and the United States is bullish on open access academia. We have Data Lake here. Data Lake is one of the projects I hold near to my heart, funded by the European Union, co-funded by the European Union at initiation, at launch. It is definitely something that just oscillates up and down for the time being. I do think this thing will break out once we see that bull run in the altcoin market, because most people know about it. Jonathan, what's going on over on X? He says, any news for Noble or Axon that I should be aware of? We'll check out Axon in a second, but Noble is making that partnership with Data Lake. They also are about to launch the Nerd Bunny AI assistant. So that's actually already launched. It's in that beta testing phase to get people to come in and give their feedback and test it at scale. So both very exciting for the platform of Noble Blocks. I feel like the juicy plays are all on Solana. Very possible. Very, very real, actually. That is, for the time being at least. For the time being, that is the case. But if we go look at ETH divided by Bitcoin to kind of get an idea of what the current sentiment is around Bitcoin and Ethereum, whenever the Ethereum valuation, as denoted by Bitcoin, bottoms, is when you get those crazy run-ups in Ethereum. Whenever it is that this stops being a pure falling knife is when we'll see those Ethereum-based tokens really take off. And so far, for the last several years, actually, we've just been on a slow downtrend. That downtrend really accelerated here this last couple months. It looked like it was bottoming here, but then it did not, and it just absolutely capitulated. Capitulated all the way to the exact line that we had drawn from previous cycles' support areas and resistances. So very intriguing value proposition here to say that potentially that was the capitulation everyone was waiting for. I do, however, think we might see a little bit of like down and then up, but when it moves quick, just like everything in the market. When it moves quick, and I'm hoping we can break back above this support line. One thing that you should pay attention to is the Solana Bitcoin valuation, because the Solana Bitcoin valuation, the opportunity to make those disgusting returns for Solana coins came during this period from August 23 until arguably March 24. And then pump signs came out and kind of destroyed the fun for everyone. But that period here is when a lot of those crazy gains came from those Solana coins that kind of left everyone now permanently chasing them over the last year. So for the last year, we've not seen that same type of environment come back into play. And if you actually take a second, and I saw this from Ben Cohen, so I won't take credit for it, but if you overlay on a new price scale Ethereum's chart to Solana, as again denoted by Bitcoin, you'll see that Ethereum had that crazy run up back here last cycle and then kind of chilled out into the peak and then started bleeding against Bitcoin. And now Solana is having a very similar story if you can kind of see through the chart. Let's get rid of it again. But if you kind of see through the chart, we had that crazy run up, a bit of consolidation, and it's starting to round over a little bit. And I'm not going to say that I think it's going to do the same thing Ethereum did from last cycle, but it is possible that we just see a slow bleed on Solana compared to Bitcoin after this. I'm hoping that's not the case, and I am aggressively in Solana, so I am hoping that maybe we get another one of these little legs up as it compares to Bitcoin, but probably not before a capitulation event that makes everyone think Solana's dead as well. And then we get that run up and then the correction, because eventually Solana will start bleeding to Bitcoin, as all altcoins seem to do eventually, one day at a time, baby. One day. Please don't do it one day. But that's my food for thought, guys. It does get me thinking a little bit more about how a lot of the micro cap altcoins are not stuff to really hold for extended periods of time. They are oscillators in the market until, again, dominance falls. When dominance is falling, that's not the case. But as dominance continues to go up, that tends to be the case, that they're just oscillators. Thank you for being here, Spec Truth. Appreciate you coming in so early into the live stream. We'll continue our conversation in the DMs for sure. I feel like a heckler at a stand-up show where I haven't paid to sit in the crowd. So what about creator bids? Still to $1 billion? I do think creator bids still to $1 billion. Yes. Again, this is all dependent, guys, on dominance coming down. Until dominance is falling, none of those price predictions that I've made for my coins come to fruition. Of course, Milgram. Of course. Jonathan wants to check out Axon, but I never did. So let's go see what Axon's been up to. I know last time I checked, they continued to be burning the supply. How much do you trust artificial intelligence? Not that much right now. Science thrives on collaboration. Bullish. 1 year of Axon. Major updates this week. 1 year ago this Thursday, we launched Axon when ETH was 2,600. We've built through ups and downs. Today, ETH is at the same price. But we have 42,000 Axon holders on all three chains. The community is exponentially stronger. Full updates for Curing launch and order updates. They have Cure OS release. They have a Silosis launch. They have the burn. They have new team members. They have a journey report. They have a new site update in progress and a future 2025 roadmap. I remember this time last year getting to work directly with Axon for the launch back when we were more friendly, and it was a glorious time in the market. Oh man, had to be there. Had to be there. Just chasing that feeling again. Waiting on my tax return to buy more Noble and Pin. Bullish, Jonathan. Bullish. I think probably a good chunk of people are waiting on that tax return in order to get more money into the market. So maybe we'll wait and see until those taxes come in. Unless Trump says no more taxes, just ERS. Taking your word as gospel. No, don't do that. Actually, yeah, do that. The word is gospel. Amen. Sorry. I consider Patrick my financial advisor, and everything he says is advice. Everything I say is generalized financial advice, but none of it is personalized financial advice because I am not a licensed financial advisor. Thus, I cannot give you personalized financial advice, especially without knowing your personalized financial situation. So make sure that nothing I say on these live streams is taken as personalized financial advice, but rather generalized financial advice. There is a clear distinction. Generalized financial advice is good, i.e., pay off your debt. Make sure you have a steady income. Don't over leverage. Don't invest more than you're willing to lose. Although I think that don't invest more than you're willing to lose is a stupid statement, because if that were the case, I would not have nearly as much money as I do in the market right now. I'm not willing to lose much of any money, and so not investing over what I'm willing to lose makes no sense. Let's say I had $1 million and I just kept it in cash because I'm not trying to lose my $1 million. I would never actually grow that $1 million, and actually I would be losing money by keeping it in cash, because cash is also an asset that changes in valuation. Very few people can wrap their heads around that, but there is no such thing as a true 100% store of value. Everything fluctuates up and down in value. Even if you're just holding cash or government bonds, especially if the Doge comes out and confirms that there was fraud in the treasury markets in the United States, then everything becomes shit. Understood. Money comes, money goes. Life is a game of risk. Yes, it is. Life is made up of a series of calculated risks that you take. And as long as you have the conviction to take those risks and the knowledge to take those risks, you end up with a much, much better life. I don't know. The dollar will crash, buy real world assets. What is a real world asset, Jonathan? The only thing I really need in this world is food, water, and breathable air. Should I invest in air? Everything else is a luxury. Sudden wealth syndrome is a term given to a psychological condition where the overwhelming pressure of unexpected and or abrupt fortune can develop into an emotional and behavioral affliction. It also can be referred to as an identity crisis. The term sudden wealth syndrome was coined by practicing wealth psychologist Stephen Goldberg, co-founder of the Money, Meaning, and Choice Institute, MMC Institute. He also noticed a great increase in symptoms related to gaining a large influx of wealth unexpectedly or abruptly. Interesting. I studied abnormal psychology in college. It is quite a fascinating topic, but this is kind of funny, Zach. Everyone wants 100x, but they don't tell you about sudden wealth syndrome. If my finance professors saw the risk we take in crypto, they'd faint. Is it a risk? Or is it just volatility? They're not the same. They're not the same. So you're saying we need to pick up more dinar in large amounts. Done. All in. What's dinar? Oh. Yes. Full port dinar. It's got to bottom eventually, right? It has to stop bleeding one day. Full port dinar. No, but actually, you should probably full port whatever currency El Salvador is using. Oh, wait, that's Bitcoin. Yeah, probably. Probably a good idea. I think Robert is old school. Robert Kiyosaki says to buy gold and silver and real estate. Real estate tends to be pretty good, but I think if you go look at actual valuations and kind of take a look at your local markets, you'll see that a lot of real estate is suddenly not moving anymore. I will say that around this area, development in the real estate market is booming like crazy. I'm seeing new housing developments pop up left and right. So something weird's going on in this local area, but supply shock, question mark, to the wrong side, question mark. It's interesting. If you invest in shelter, you can turn on memberships again. You're not wrong. C90. Oxygen ETF. I would buy it. Any data lake updates? Lake. They had another small crypto influencer talking about data lakes, so that's exciting. I love to see it. They're small on YouTube. Bigger on X, which is super bullish. Love to see more exposure coming. And of course, they partnered with Noble Blocks, and they continue to have their podcast in partnership with Biohacker. Bullish, that's me. We'll go ahead and repost that. Beef tallow. Bullish on beef tallow. The whole thing, right? And then I'll end that kind of rant about everything being risky. It gets a little bit overblown in the crypto markets, but the grand scheme of what everyone with money is doing is trying to position themselves in emerging and growing industries, because that is the only way to create any kind of stability in your wealth, is to have that wealth in industries that are growing and expanding. And obviously everyone wants a house, and most people are going to do anything they can to buy a house, which is why real estate historically goes up in value over time. But it does go through periods of time in which the market just resets and just collapses. When you have affordability crises, you will inevitably will have that reset or that crash in the pricing or in the purchasing power of people. And that crash in the purchasing power, meaning it expands rapidly, right? But that usually leads to not a fix, a temporary solution in the problem. Regardless, what everyone does is try and position themselves in either grossly undervalued assets compared to where they should be, or in grossly underappreciated emerging industries, i.e. AI. Everyone flocked into AI, and that gets hyper. You can see it on steroids within the crypto markets. What's good, Sarah? Welcome into the last 10 minutes of the live stream. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button if you guys have enjoyed the live stream. But you see it on steroids in crypto. Everything just happens a lot quicker in crypto and in Web3. And so that narrative trading stuff, that attention trading that everyone does, is what happens in the broader markets, just way faster and with less care. People will just jump in and out of things instantly when they see the next thing coming because everything is so liquid. You can't really be that liquid when you're managing $1 trillion fund or you're managing $1 billion fund. You have to move a lot slower, but that same exact concept still plays out. And so when you go look at stuff like when the Bank of Japan started raising interest rates and everyone got out of the carry trade, which was them borrowing money from Japan at free, converting it into the dollars, and then buying assets in the United States. When Japan started raising interest rates and the carry trade ended, people lost attention from that carry trade and started going into other assets, which is in part why you saw such a massive increase or a massive sell-off in the bond market, and which caused the rates to go up so much, is because people were getting out of that carry trade and moving to the next attention-focused thing. But it's all just narrative trading. It's just different time frames because of the amount of volume that you're moving, right? That's a very important core concept to wrap your heads around. Now, one of the things that I think you should be paying attention to is, of course, the 10-year, which I haven't looked at today, so I'm just bringing it up because I want to look at it. But the 10-year government bonds starting to tick up a little bit today. Hopefully gets rejected, but again, nobody really knows what's about to happen. They're clearly coming in and selling off bonds again. We'll see. We will see. What do you guys have? Everyone who's watching the live stream right now, do me a favor and just put top 3 altcoins you're holding on to right now. Don't include Bitcoin. Don't include Ethereum. Don't include Solana. I want to know your top 3 altcoins that are not just one of your main core long-term large cap positions. So do it now. Now. Why are you interested in coding now? Because I have a lot of ideas and a difficult time expressing those ideas to developers. And so I figure I might just need to pick up the keyboard and learn how to code myself so that I can actually get those ideas down to real products. Seems to be a problem that I've had for a couple years now, is that I have crazy ideas and cool things that can happen, but a very difficult time actually getting them into reality. And so maybe I just need to do it. Maybe I just need to pause everything outside of these live streams and just learn how to code. Slim says, research coin. Bullish. I know you are a mega bull on Brian Armstrong's project. Potentially one of the easiest W's in the market. Right, of course. Right behind Bill, of course. I mean, that goes without saying, though. Steven says, Bill. Bullish. Let's see, we got Dynex, Axon, Eagle AI. Love. We have Zach saying Cyclix, Psy, and Jeepbot. Love. I might say love. No shade to Cyclix. I think it's going to be a great project and do really well. I actually hold a gross amount of Cyclix as well, so maybe love. Let's see. We have Naul, the Muscovian aristocrat, saying XDC, SHX, and XCN. So let's take a look for a second and recall what exactly those are. XDC. Not for me. SHX. I've never heard of Stronghold before. Similar coins. Let's see what other things are similar to it. I've never heard of it before, so I will refrain from commenting on that one, but it's not DeSci, so I have to intrinsically hate it. And then XCN. Onyx coin. I've heard really good things about this one. I don't hold any, and I have no interest in holding any, but again, I will refrain from commenting. Sorry, but thank you for shilling your bags. And then we have Stephen L saying Ondo, Eagle AI, and Psy. Love, love, love. We have C90 saying Ada, Caspa, and Jasmine. Like. No hate, C90. Like. I think they'll do good, but not for me. Caspa, we already made our money off of it, and I think it's going to do what Cardano did, where it has one little spike and then fades into nothing. And then Beagle says Axon, Lake, and Psy. Love, or like, love, love. Steven with the bill. Love, love, love. We have Lero with LYX. Bio, and DNX. I've not heard of LYX before. A $43 million market cap. We got that bleeding chart that is so effing familiar. Let's see what similar coins. Ooh, LimeWire. Decent. Let's go to their Twitter. Oh, a social play. Oh, a social play. Mid. And then BioDynex, love. And then Invisible says that USDC and Bio. I think that's okay. It's weird that USDC is your biggest bag right now. I will say that. Pretty weird. And then Bio, love. Stare says, you know what you see as your core projects, but ever since that last tweet about price predictions, are there any new projects that might belong on that list but weren't there at the time? Yeah, there definitely are. I should go back and find that post again and kind of do an update and It did really well too, actually, so I probably should. Damn it, Nahul. Why you got to get rid of your comment? I want to see it. We got Zaya Dynex Lake. Love. What are these XCX, SHX, and XCN coins? I don't know. Not DeSci, so I don't know. I don't know, man. Is Noble dead? Noble is certainly not dead. Noble is certainly not going up in value, but again, well, hold on. It went up 3% today. Noble is, in fact, going up in value. You have to be technically correct on these statements. Yeah, Noble is not dead, no. They just pushed new features onto the platform, which is what we've been waiting for an egregious amount of time here. So they are, in fact, not dead. And again, when DeSci projects move, they move really quickly. And that's just, if you go overlay this was from November, this was for the month of November. And if you come look at Bitcoin dominance, what was going on during the month of November for Bitcoin dominance, we had that initial realization that dominance had started to peak. So we had that beginning choppiness in dominance, and then dominance absolutely fell off a cliff. And Noble was holding up strong up here during that whole period. It wasn't until dominance started climbing again that Noble really started selling off. So again, it is really just reflective of what's going on in Bitcoin dominance. And so Bitcoin dominance looking like it's starting to get that initial break again. If we repeat what happened here, then we see that crazy rally in a lot of these micro caps. You gotta remember, these are micro caps, and people just don't hold on to them when they're that low. They just don't. When people see other people selling, they're like, oh my God, I gotta get out. And then we got Wellshare, Psy, and Hempy. Bullish. I love Hempy. I'm actually a big fan of Hempy and what they got going on with Hempy. Nobody mentioned Noble. Sus. I'm going to name 4 for me. And I think my 4 core positions are Bill, Dynex, Psy, Noble, and we'll throw in the 5th, Lake. Those are my 5 largest positions. Just telling you the honesty. Bio was one of the largest, but then it bled quite a bit. So bio being an additional bonus. And then, I mean, gotta have some creator bid, right? But I don't even really count creator bid as a position because it's just endorsing agent Bill. That's what it's there for. Its utility for me is just to endorse Bill. USD to $5. Oh God, I hope not. That would suck. Don't sleep on Velo. I won't sleep on Velo, but I also won't invest in it. Let me ask you this. Does Velo play a role in DeSci? Yes or no? I think the answer is no. Federated Credit Exchange Network powered by the Velo protocol, a blockchain financial protocol that enables digital credit issuance and borderless asset transfers for businesses using the smart contract system. My problem is that I think there are too many of these out in the market, and I also think that this is not something that needs to exist. Now, hold on. I'm not saying that it can't do well. It could very well do very well for you. Okay? What I'm saying is that what would stop a company from coming and grabbing the open source code to create a copy of Velo, aka forking it, keeping it all in-house, rather than open source and decentralized, just keeping it closed source and centralized, or open sourced and centralized, and just running the blockchain on their own personal cloud servers and putting everyone's assets onto their own personalized chain for their financial institution. This is not hypothesis, and it is FUD, but it's not just a theory or an idea. It is exactly what we saw JP Morgan do, where they forked Ethereum and just created a private version of Ethereum in which they started doing tests on the financial markets with. All of you guys have probably heard of it before. I forget its name right now, but one of you guys probably know in the chat, so throw it in the chat if you don't mind. But it's something that's already taking place, because they don't need to just come adopt Velo. They can just take Velo, fork it, and have their own private version that they have control over. Still get the same effects of instantaneous financial settlement, but change up how it's done. Sarah says bio, AIXBT, and Bill Nye. Bullish on Sarah. Love, love, love. Yeah. What happened to Rejuve? I have not seen anything from Rejuve in quite some time. They're still working on their AI stuff for DeSci, but I've not actually seen much come from them in a while. And market cap is at 5.4 million, so they are holding up at that $5.4 million mark. It is very, very low. That initial trade setup that we called for a while ago did in fact play out nicely, and then it bled off. And I wish I had taken profits here, but I was really sucked into the idea that dominance was about to fall off a cliff, and then it in fact just made my portfolio fall off a cliff. So I should have stuck through with the initial trade hypothesis when we got in over here, and it bled more and then popped off. And I said I was going to take profits, I think at 2 cents. But then it just kept going. Whatever. You can't win all of them. Jeepbot sale coming soon. Bullish. Pre-sale soon, Zach. I expect you to keep me very well in the loop on what's going on with Jeepbot. You've been doing a good job. You've been doing a very good job, but I expect you to keep me in the loop. Now, all of you guys, I love you all. You all make me so happy to be here live streaming. And I hope that all of you guys found some value in what's going on here. I do want to check out one more thing, just out of curiosity. Anti and Pro, $361,000 market cap. That looks like a dead project, which is sad. Glad I never bought in, but I might actually enter into it if they continue to evolve and show some semblance of promising financial returns. Your time is your most valuable asset. Maybe that's the one thing that we should commoditize. Time. Ticker time. I'd invest because I really want to buy as much of it as I can. In some dystopian future, you can in fact purchase more time, and time would be the ultimate preservation of value. Although that would be weird to see it fluctuate in value. If they created more time or less time, I don't think it would necessarily be them. No, it would probably just be creating more time. You gain access into that higher dimension and you can kind of bring it into people's biology with those little implantations of time crystals. And then what you have is a frozen biological time where you can still progress forward, but you need to take weekly injections of your time serum in order to maintain that longevity. So there is a future in which time is commoditized. But for now, it is your most valuable asset. Hopefully this was worth investing it into. Oh man. I'll see you guys in tomorrow's live stream, and get ready for the Pump Science live stream immediately after tomorrow's live stream.